All right, mic check.
Mic check.
It's awesome. It's working.
Is it working?
It is working.
All right, good.
If it wasn't, there's medication for that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's go there.
Consult with your doctor, your pharmacist.
All right, we're back. We're fresh, feeling limber, loose, rubber goose. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name's D.
This is Lynn.
Project Airwaves. We're here. We finally made it back. There was some concern for a minute there, but we're here.
We're here.
So we're going to give you guys a quick down and dirty episode today, give you kind of a quick update as to what's been going on with us. We've been away for about a month or two. Our last recording was back in September. Traveling, COVID, shenanigans.
Life.
But now we're here
Liberty,
and we're going to...
Pursuit of Happiness.
Will Smith?
Is that Will Smith? That's not Will Smith.
Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness?
No, not that Pursuit of Happiness. That's different. That's a different one.
I don't want to cry.
No, not today. I'm going to be talking relatively low, like ASMR. I don't know why. I feel like...
I'm going to keep the mic away from me so I don't overpower you.
No, I all my energy, my vocal energy has been expunged from yelling at work.
Well, give us some insight. What has been going on with you, son?
I don't even know where to start, man. I feel like playing catch up more or less. Work is kicking in overdrive with the new year coming up.
Right.
Properties are in high demand of training when it comes to officers. So with my title, we're pushing. We're trying to get everything up and ready for the new year because these shenanigans. Right. This will be the first year since technically last year New Year's wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
Air quotes supposed to be a thing.
Right.
So now that it's actually in effect, there's no social distancing. Venues are running and open with no limit cap on their events. Normally we train 60 officers once a month. Not once a month, but every other week, up to 60. Upper management and all the bigwigs want 250 done by that time. So
that's
with
a tall order.
Yeah. So I'm pulling these doubles, man.
And you're working solo most of the time, right?
I got a team, but all my team is tied up doing a bunch of other stuff. I have other specialists that train with me, but they do report writing, essentials, fundamentals of dispatch, and stuff like that. My thing is strictly...
You're the hands-on guy.
I'm the hands-on guy. I train with retired Metro and retired military, like ex-military ERT and stuff like that. But I have my squad that I pull from other properties to help me teach, and oh boy, it's rough. I can feel myself mentally, like I'm burning out mentally, and after just talking to you a minute ago, I'm physically... My body's just not holding together very well, so trying to make the time to... I don't know how to explain it. I feel like the podcast is more of a mental health thing.
Yes.
It gives you that mental refresher of, hey, shit's still got to get done.
And you get to blow off steam a little bit.
Yeah. You spend so much time working for other people, I feel like this is working for me.
Right.
Not just...
You're doing and hoping somebody else will pay you for it. It's just like, no, I'm putting myself out there.
Yes.
I don't really care.
Yes.
I just need to put it out there.
Yes.
And that's what we're here for. So since you're doing all of that extra training as far as your time goes, how do you feel like as far as like your time management?
My time management is all over the place. I was just talking to someone about that yesterday. I feel like I'm in a pool of water, and I know how to swim. I'm a functional swimmer, but what's happening is the bowl is just filling up faster than I can keep treading.
Right.
So I find myself sinking down, trying to, that concept of like when you're swimming and you start to get exhausted, so you do that thing in the pool where you try to touch the bottom to kick yourself back up. Yeah. I'm doing that a lot. I'm not treading water anymore. I'm drowning down to the bottom, and I'm kicking myself back up in the air to get a gasp of air, and then I go right back down to the fucking bottom, and it's that consistency of doing it where it's like I'm feeling the pressure. Like today was one of the first days in a while where I was mentally, I'd felt that my brain had just completely
cut off. It was done.
Exhausted.
Yeah, it was done.
Yeah, and there's just it's for a good cause. I know down the road it's gonna pay off because it's like I'm kind of becoming my own boss.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, getting there is what's making it hard, and it's stopping my productivity with everything outside of that job. The gym's lacking, relationships are lacking, life things lacking, the podcast is lacking. So obviously, even D kind of brought it up to my attention earlier, right before all this stuff kicked in, that we would kind of slow it down. I just don't want it to stop.
No, right. And
so,
it's, you guys understand, like a lot of you that listen to us, you're hardworking citizens. You understand, promotions, work, life, everything. It's almost like when you start to do something for yourself, other stuff finds a way to get in the way.
Yeah.
Because before me and Lynn even started this podcast, he was about to quit security. He was literally like, bro, we're going to start this podcast. I need to quit like within the next year. And I was like, well, I don't know if we'll hit big that quickly, but I understood. Like he was really so close to quitting multiple times. And then all of a sudden, I would say the podcast began to pick up steam.
It did.
And then all of a sudden his job was like, oh, you're more useful than we thought.
Yes.
Let's promote you.
It was a quick change. Like I was an officer. I was a first responder for everything. So I only needed to be present for when shit hit the fan.
Right.
And it's not like shit was always hitting the fan. So the downtime that I did have, I could focus on doing this, my training, everything else like that, actual life things. And now that this is eating up, it's a management role. I'm in this spot now where it's like I actually have a team. I've never had a team underneath me that I can actually call a team.
Right.
And it's physically demanding to constantly be active and training and fighting with people.
Yeah.
And now, like on the back end, the mental strain. It's like I could physically exhaust myself at work at my previous
previous position,
but I didn't mentally really need to put in too much effort.
Right. You
now that
think about it.
Yeah. So my mental could come to this, and now that the mental and physical is being eaten up over there, you're getting like
you're like Naruto and Judge Dredd. Like after Naruto uses up all of his chakra, he has to tap into the nine tails.
Yeah,
you're like Judge Dredd. He's always somber, has no friends.
Yes,
he's like, I'm dedicated to the job.
I'm dedicated to the job. I don't need any life outside of this life. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I don't want it to be like that, and I see that's what it's turning to. And like I said, I know long term it definitely holds prospect, but then going into these holidays and seeing all the friends and family, which I will talk about here in a minute, me going back home, I'm noticing it's like my brain is branching off from not being in that, and that's not what I want. I don't want to be independently successful, because then that puts you more or less like not independently successful. I don't know how to explain it. Not be successful and be by yourself. There's no point in having success if you have no one to share it with.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's what I feel like it's leaning towards.
It can, especially when it comes to work and income. You know, me and Lynn are always in a outspoken competition where we're always trying to one up each other as far as like our income. And so Lynn is currently winning, just in case anybody was curious. He's winning, but it almost became one of those things where we had to sit down and talk about it, where it was like, are we sacrificing more of ourselves for the money than we wanted to?
Yes. And that's what it, that becomes.
We always imagine like, we'll get a job, we'll get promoted to like some type of management role, chill there, be cool, still hang out and do our stuff like we were doing after high school. And then, of course, as we got older, got into the workforce, both of us did construction, both did security. Lynn did retail. I did pretty much, not construction. I started getting into call center work. Our lives just took a completely different turn than where we thought they were going to go. But we're not here to get on our soapbox. We're here to give you an update. So that's what's going on. But we're going to cover some quick key points. Yeah, let's go with that. So quick update. If you haven't yet, go ahead and jump on our Patreon. Check out episode 54. I almost said 49.
No,
I'm stuck on 49.
54.
Someone help me.
Something
it's episode 54.
Yes.
So pretty much we're going to pick up from where we left off on that one. We do have an episode 55 on its way. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to tell you where episode 55 is.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
It's in limbo. It's in the Matrix.
Don't tell them.
We'll find it.
Please don't tell them. But we're going to give you a quick rundown. So as far as Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little disappointed that I was right.
Yeah.
As far, at least where we went for Halloween, it was dead.
Yeah.
Dead, bro. These poor couple, we went, they had like whole trunks full of, they were handing out soda and candy.
Soda.
The wife was sitting there. She was like, oh, hey, she like waved us down from across the street.
Yeah.
They were like, here, take everything. They're like, we've been sitting out here for 3 hours.
Why
You're
are
the
they-
first family we've seen.
Why are they handing out soda?
I don't know. I think it was to encourage the kids to come by.
Oh my god!
But we went through like 3 neighborhoods, and it was just.
Oh, so you guys actually went up and down?
I told my girls like we're gonna start doing drive-bys where we just like hop out of the car to that house, go to the next neighborhood, hop out of that car. We walked around for about an hour. Got, he got a little bit of candy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty quiet. I'll put it that way. Like even as it started getting dark.
You know what? And I noticed it's something. Well, I can't remember what it was or why I was feeling the way I was feeling, because I think I got sick, and I remember because I was running a fever. No, it wasn't the vid. I gotta get checked for that fucking weekly. It wasn't anything like that.
Right.
But I had a fever. I was body aches, chills. I still had plans that night.
Yeah.
I'd already been tested prior to and even afterwards, and I was clear on both those things because we have to get it tested for work, especially because I'm coming in contact with new people all the time. But my body just wasn't fucking having it. I ended up trying to go do things with family, and it was. I tried to hang as long as I could. We ended up going out to Gold Spike.
Oh yeah,
and Gold Spike, it was pretty dope. It was almost like a club. It was crazy. The whole back end of it. And you've been to Gold Spike before
once? Yeah, unfortunately.
They had like the whole more time. They had the back end of it where they had like a DJ and
nice.
It was like almost like a concert. People were playing, cornhole and beer pong. Yeah, like all the stuff like that. Drinks were okay. I dressed up as Squid Games.
Gold Spike,
yeah.
That tiny little spot we went to.
You know what I'm talking about? It's not tiny. It's free. It's Fremont.
Fremont? Yeah. Okay,
you've been there before, because I remember. I think a long time ago I had a birthday.
We went into the back and there was like hopscotch.
That's what they have. Yeah,
so it's the same thing. Jenga
same exact setup as has always been, but it's just you had to wait a little while to get through line just because they were doing check-ins. Free to get in for guys and girls. I think guys would pay like $5 or something like that. Went in through there and had a good time. Was there for a couple hours, almost past midnight. The only downside is I had work the next morning.
Yeah.
So my body was just struggling.
That was me. I had work.
By the time I got home and went to sleep and woke up, I was just...
You're a zombie.
Yeah, I was a zombie. I was a zombie. So that just put into perspective, it's like, it was nice to enjoy it because obviously last year I couldn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Maximize it even though I was sick. I've learned over time when it comes to going to events and venues, like when I'd gone to the System of the Down concert, I've been to a lot of heavy concerts, and that one was very well packed in T-Mobile. I always explain to people a couple hours of discomfort for a lifetime of memories.
Of course.
Always seems to prevail. Like,
it's worth
I can remember that it was great and I had fun, but in the time I was having it, I was feeling like dog shit. Yeah. So it's like, just deal with it. Like, I'm in pain right now, but I'm good.
It's
so
worth it.
Just deal with it.
Totally worth it.
So yeah, Halloween, then and gone. What was the next holiday?
Then and gone. Thanksgiving.
What'd you do?
I went, so long story short, a lot of stuff's been happening just as far as like my family and us developing a future dynasty for ourselves. So there's been a lot of traveling back and forth to Parram, a lot of planning stuff, a lot of family meetings and all that. But Thanksgiving was pretty chill. Went to my mom's house, had some food. It was kind of a quiet year for Thanksgiving. We kind of wanted to take it back to the basics, where it's just like, look, there's a lot of shenanigans going on right now. People are protesting Thanksgiving, and there's all this controversial talk about it. And it's like, okay, I get it, but we can still be thankful. We can still, give thanks. We can still be with our family and loved ones and enjoy a good meal, and just come together and fellowship with one another. So that was pretty much all we did. You, sir, were MIA in Vegas.
I was. I finally got a vacation, even though it didn't feel like a vacation. I was there and back within a week's time. Which is the most time I normally get off for vacations. I only get 1 to 2 days off at a time, but right after work, I had a midnight flight with me and my brother. We flew back home to Ohio. The weather went from 60 here to 29.
Nope, can't do it.
Snow, everything, the whole thing. It pretty much looks like Christmas over there all the time. It's just down, so you can't really do shit. Can't go nowhere without, because it's not like I can walk somewhere.
And it closes down after a certain time, right?
Certain locations, yeah. Like me and my brother trained at the gym there and did a bunch of other things. Most of it's about hanging out with people, and it's always the biggest thing. I try to remember Vegas is home, but then when I go back there, that's like home. That's home, because all my close friends over there are family. We're all married with kids and doing their thing, but I've known these people since I was like fucking 5, about as long as I've known you. So anytime I go out there, they always take the time to pick me up, to hang out with me, cook a bunch of food, have a little bonfire, have a little party, and it's like, it's cool. It's rare to think, and that's like what D hit on before, is you have that mentality that as you get older, you hope that you can stay in contact and do the same things, like how you got out of high school. Still get together, play some games, have a few drinks, have a few laughs. But I don't know what it is about this town, man. It's fucking hard. Just driving from point to point, by the time you get to a location, your energy's eating up. You need a day's worth of time. Opposed to when I was there, I could be like, hey, can I come down? They're like, yeah, we could spend 1 or 2 hours, and then it's only a 5-minute walk back. So everything's within a travel distance. Town now, here, I need hours of planning for an hour's worth of time
for a short drive, and that's
it's less fruitful to get.
Well, and because we've driven these streets for so long, it's not fun.
No, there's
anymore.
no, yeah. It's like I'm mind-numbingly going down Rainbow.
Right,
like
I know Rainbow.
I know Rainbow. I can literally close my eyes, and as long as I can pay attention to the traffic, I know I only got to go fucking straight. But it's 35 minutes of going straight,
right.
opposed to like when I was going there, it's like there's trees. It was funny when I was out there. Not funny, more or less, but my mom's brother, he passed when I was born.
Oh, wow.
So my grandparents always put it into this perspective that I was a blessing because he died 6 months after I was born.
Wow.
Got in a car crash, went through the window.
Okay.
So he was, when I was born in March, he died. My grandma said when we went to go to the grave, it was the anniversary. And I didn't know that when I got in there. And I saw the thing that, he died in 1989, and then it was 32 years from that time.
Wow.
And it was cool is because Ohio is obviously covered by greenery. We go to set down flowers. It's still kind of snowing outside. And I'm walking to the car, and I look to my right, and I think I'm seeing a dog just kind of running around. But the dog is doing this weird motion with his head. Another one comes by, throwing its body around, dancing and moving. They were deer, not dogs. Thought they were fucking dogs. I look, and they're not far from you. They're like from me to where my car is outside in front of you.
Yeah.
4 of them. They're does, which are female deers, or so they're prancing around each other, throwing their heads around while they're doing it. I'm looking at my grandma and I'm baffled because, mind you, it's like I don't get to see animals like that all the time. And my grandma just kind of like shrugs it off like, oh, they're here. They're here all the time. As long as it's not a buck, because the bucks are the ones that have the prongs, the horns. They're not in a rut right now, so they're not trying to mate with the does. And the does act like fucking kids. So they're literally playing tag. You see the doe walk up, and it would tap one of the other does, and the other doe would throw its head around and dance around in circles.
So weird.
And it's just, I look at my grandma and I was like, that's a recurring thing. She's like, not normally, no, but I like to think that it's because your uncle's watching over us. So to see that in such a small proximity and for the animals not to get spooked, she goes, that's rare.
Right.
So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. I wanted to record it, but I was like, I don't want to walk over there and fucking spook them.
That's how I felt when I went out to Parram. So, going out to Parram, that was my first time. Never been to Parram. It was like an hour and a half drive. That was the first time I've ever experienced perfect silence outside when we went hiking.
It's quiet.
It's so quiet.
Because you're not
stupid
covered
quiet.
by pollution. I was talking to someone else about that too, about how you can see the actual stars out there because there's no light pollution like what we have here. Not to say, like I said, I'm not trying to dog or diss living here, but being in a city for so long, when you go when you go to a country aspect of it and you go out into an open area, you notice the difference in silence and in commodity, not just loud action, bumper to bumper, yelling,
and
fighting.
It puts into perspective, like you remember how we always, well, not always, but how those movies would come out, it'd be like people's like changing lifestyles. Yeah. So, it's like the whole Tarzan thing. You were raised in the jungle, but now we're going to bring you into the city. Yeah. So going from the city to the outskirts, it's like we've driven to Gunlock Canyon. We went to Zion. Me and Lynn have hiked a few spots, and it's been pretty chill. But this was dead silence. There was nobody around us. I saw a coyote for the first time in my life. I thought it was a cat.
No.
So just like you. Side of my eye, I see it trotting, and I was like, that's a big-ass cat. I told my brother, he's like, ain't no cats over here. I was like...
The fucking coyotes. It sucks to say, too, is like if you get an animal, coyotes are so smart, they do this thing. I've been learning more about when it just comes to how animals react, because down the road... I mean, I hope because he'll listen to this at some point anyways, but when... I'm going to try to go hunting soon. Take my dad and my brother for the first time. So I'm going to buy our tags so we can go stalk, meaning that you go to stalk a deer. In Nevada, we've got something called mule deers. And they're these mule deers, they're the size of a fucking mule, of a donkey. But they're deers. Right. So they're bigger than a basic doe, like a basic small deer. You get a tag, you go stalk them and stuff like that. And I was looking up what you need to watch out for. What you have to watch out for, which one of the things are coyotes. Because what the coyotes do, coyotes are so smart. Let's say there's a dog inside of a house, but... the dog isn't coming outside because there's a glass door, right? Like no different than what I'm looking at for your door or for yours. Coyote's on the other side. The coyote tries to friend the dog by getting the dog to play out. They'll like go back and forth and like try to play tag and scratch at the door to get their attention. So the dog goes outside to play with the coyote. Coyote leads the dog to more of an open area, and it's a fucking trap. The coyotes are so smart. What it'll do is it'll friend the dog, bring it out to a certain area, and then the pack will come and rip the dog apart. That's how smart they are.
That sounds like a human.
They're smart. They're not. They know exactly what they're doing. They work. They work in packs, and that's one of the things you have to deal with when you go out hunting. Let's say if I were to kill something, in the process of butchering it, you have to hang most of your stuff up, because if you put it off to the side, coyote comes. It only takes
they'll drag it away.
They'll mark it, try to friend you, and then they'll wait for reinforcements to come. And there's so many in Nevada.
Wow.
So many.
Wow.
It's crazy. People are like so naive to how much animals. I mean, we got mountain lions out here too.
Yeah, we have mountain lions.
And we got coyotes like a motherfucker.
I was nervous about, but thankfully it was just a coyote. No. But it was like it pranced like a dog.
They trot. Yeah.
It trotted. But it was as skinny as a cat. And it threw me off for a second, because I was like, the tail was a little bushy, and I was like, that's a cat. And then as it comes up, I see its snout, and I'm like, that looks like a wolf. I'm like, is that a fox? And my mind could not.
There's a bunch of them. There was a trail, I can't remember what it was. This is a long time ago, and I don't know what the fuck it's called, but there's another peak spot, not like Lone Mountain, but where you go up in a mountain trail. You can physically go into the mountain, and it hikes you up and down. I remember I went with people back when I was working at Tilly's, and I remember we were climbing through this mountain, and I started realizing I was claustrophobic. Didn't know it. Yeah, and it gets thinner and thinner and thinner to where it's like you get into the mountain because the mountain's hollow. People use the inside of it as like a little bonfire spot, but as you try to crawl through one end, it poops you out on the other side. So I didn't want to go back in because I'm like, this was way too uncomfortable. It was too like chest to chest kind of thing in between. And I'm like, all right, I'm kind of panicking here.
Oh, shit.
So we're standing outside, and I remember this very vividly. I was with a couple of my friends. One of the guys' name was Johnny. So you see around the corner, right when we come outside, you come to the edge of a cliff that it's a sheer drop, but you can see the fucking city perfectly.
Oh, yay.
And Johnny looks over, and he points to me that it was me and a couple of the girls. He points over and says, there's a set of eyes over there, thinking like it's a cat or some shit like that, because we're still relatively close to housing still. And it's tiny little eyes that are just glowing, because you know how animals' eyes reflect?
Reflective,
yes. So Johnny tried to try to get the cat to come over. So you see the eyes start to move, but you can't see the body because it's so dark.
Right.
Like Lone Mountain when it's just dark up there.
Shadow.
The minute that you see the set of eyes go, you hear a yelp. And it was a weird yelp, like a call yelp. 4 other sets of eyes perk up, and then a bigger set of eyes perk up.
Oh, no.
We all look at each other like, that's not a fucking cat. No fucking way. That little baby coyote came, the fucking mom came, the brothers came, and they stalked us back into the cavern thing. Because I wanted to go walk down and go around, but I would have to walk past them. Yeah. I was like, no fucking way.
Right.
Had to go right back into the goddamn mountain cave, crawl your way back up, back down. I told myself, never again. Because Johnny's like, oh, let's just go past him. I was like, no, because if we go past that mom and it's fucking territorial, she'll bite, tear. No, and you're not going to fight those.
You know what I mean?
No, and especially because they're gonna outwork you.
Well, and they'll gang up on you.
They will.
Really.
It's like trying to fight off a pack of dogs.
Have you seen that movie Crawl or Die?
No.
Okay, if you're claustrophobic, just for you folks out there, if you're claustrophobic like I am, I'm deathly claustrophobic. It's a great movie. It's called Crawl or Die, and literally the whole movie, spoilers, don't care, it's been out for a while.
Who's in it?
I don't know. It's not like an A-list. It's kind of like independent film, but I think it was on Netflix at one point. The whole movie is about a girl crawling through a bunch of tubes or crawling through a bunch of spaces that get increasingly tighter, and at one point she is laying flat on her back. I do believe she's like laying on her back or her chest. Her fingertips are scraping, and her hands are by her side or something, and she's pushing herself with her toes.
Oh no!
I was like,
I'm good. No, you trap me in there. I'm just might as well die at that point.
I'm like, I'll die.
It makes me panic at that point.
But you should watch it just for the pure like shock value, because dude, it had me. I almost tore my couch to pieces.
Yeah, no,
I was having all types of anxiety attacks. All right, moving forward. We're going to cover a quick little sensitive topic of high importance.
Well, are we touching base on all the big shit that just
we're going to start. We're going to go down the list.
We'll wrap through those and then kind of wrap everything up. Yeah, we'll leave the other things for another time.
You jump us off.
You know how we run the show. We try to keep it relatively calm, cool, collected. We want to kind of give you guys just a little insight of what us normies do on a day-to-day. I've found over time that when I listen to podcasts, depending on what I'm listening to, I think it's just the background noise of having conversations while I'm like doing the dishes or writing
it's
something.
It's almost like pseudo
It's
interaction.
yeah, exactly. It just kind of helps my brain process, so I'm not sitting in silence, because I tend to, when I sit in silence, which I know a lot of people do, I overthink.
Yeah.
Which everybody does.
Yeah.
But we still like to touch on events and kind of give our feedback on how we feel about things. So many things have happened in the last month. Which I was like, a lot of times we come across the things when me and D try to talk, we sit down and we go, all right, what are we talking about?
Right.
We talk about our life stuff and we talk about the world's life
Right.
things. And dude, I don't even know how
It's
to word
been too
all
much.
these. It's been within a month's time, because we did record an episode in October.
Yeah.
Don't know where the fuck it's at. But
don't tell him.
Within that month's time, you had the Rittenhouse thing that came through. That is such a big controversy, and there's a lot of guys I listen to, like Ben Shapiro, Rogan, and all of them that are very to not go into politics, because I hate hearing the shit, and I don't defer with being on the left or being on the right. Left being Democrats, right being Republicans. You get a lot of information on what happened with that, and a lot of people were making jokes more along the lines of, why the fuck did I don't even remember how old he is. He's a teen, he's not even an adult. They can't even try him as...
Yeah, he's like 20-something,
I know, less than that, because during the fucking thing, people were making a joke that his mom drove him to this thing.
So he's like, what, 18?
I don't even fucking know. I didn't do enough research to care enough about it, but I've heard so much about it.
You have to be 18 years of age to legally carry a assault rifle.
Yeah, a rifle. So because he had that AR and his mom drove him to this fucking thing, there's multiple clips of him being shown trying to help people, but then the whole thing about these guys, one being a sex offender and the other one being a woman beater.
They pressed him.
They pressed it. Even LeBron made some fucking grimy ass comment because of the way that he was crying. Yeah, which it was an ugly ass cry. It was an ugly. Yeah, but even it's like they were pretty much saying that he was faking it. But this is a kid that was being hung out to dry.
I mean, but it's so, and that's the thing. Like, I try to put myself, depending on the situation, I try to put myself in that person's shoes. Yeah. Based off of the video evidence that was brought to our attention, and this is what we can assume the jury was looking at, and the judge as well. It was a bad decision. It was that made a bad situation worse. Yes. So was he completely in the wrong? I'm gonna say no, and that's specifically because we've been dealing with this for years. Right to bear arms. Right to bear arms. You're not gonna stop me from carrying a gun in my country. Blah blah blah. The boy is allowed to carry the gun. He was allowed to carry it. Should he have carried it? No. Should
he have carried, and should he have... this all... Now, a lot of people don't recall or remember this, but you know why he was out there, right? It was a riot because of... Who?
Because of BLM?
Yes. Right. So it became a BLM thing, and people were rioting and destroying things. Right. So it became more or less... It's not like he was going out trying to just hunt people. He was doing it to try to protect a community.
That's the problem. People are stirring a situation up because... There was video proof that he did not pull the trigger until he felt his life was in danger. And it showed the dude bearing down on him.
Yes, he had drawn, and he'd been knocked over.
Right,
one of the dudes tried to hit him with a skateboard.
Right, so he's being ganged upon.
Yes.
He's on the floor, looking up. This dude is harassing him. Hands were up. All of a sudden, pistols in the hand, pointed at his face. Yes. I'm pulling the trigger bro.
That's the reason why he got acquitted. And
but
a lot of people
it's not even like it was a black dude.
No, and people are throwing a temper tantrum because they're saying because it was a white kid. That's the reason why he's getting away with it. And it's like, no. Race or not. If you got somebody drawn...
There was proof. I could see if it was like, oh, hey, where's the proof? Where's the videos? This is that. And they're like, oh, we can't find it. Oh, no.
There was enough proof.
They showed us the proof.
It took them, and the biggest thing is, this was a 4-day fucking court thing. Yes. But it happened last year in August of 2020. It shouldn't have taken that long to go to light.
You would like to think, but they were still dealing with
there's so many
the issue with the the chokeout, I guess we can call it. Yeah, and it's practically kind of the problem with all of this all of this like information and social media and stuff. Just because you have a voice doesn't mean you should speak, and it doesn't mean you should be heard. People are putting in their 2 cents. Half the people either haven't watched the full court proceedings, haven't looked at the evidence, or they're just they're denying the facts altogether. I get it. You're upset. I'm upset. Nobody's happy. But at the end of the day, a human being is a human being. If any of us are pressed in that situation, bro, it could have been me and you and one other dude. Dude comes at you. Dude comes at me. I'm going to take him out. Plain and simple. I don't care who you are. I don't care what skin tone you are. I don't care your sexual orientation, your religion. I don't care. Life is more important.
Exactly. And it sucks to be the fact is like self-defense will always be something that gets frowned upon when the situation happens. They tell you they want you to defend yourself. Same thing when it comes to security.
Right.
A lot of the officers that have to train, I tell them the same thing. That when you have to detain somebody and it turns into either lethal or non-lethal, the fact is you're still causing physical harm to a civilian that isn't trained like how we are trained. You have to still put in your report, I did this to an extent because I was in fear of my life.
Yeah.
Because if you just say I did it because they weren't complying, they're going to call you the aggressor. You're going to call be a renegade, and they're going to consider you the aggressor, even though this guy, the person was trying to swing and stab and attack you. They're going to hang you up to dry saying, well, why did you attack this guy? He was fucking stabbing somebody in a hallway, and he came at me, and I had to stop him. Well, did you have to stop him that way?
Right.
So you have to determine, like how Rittenhouse said, I was in fear of my life.
Yes. And I mean,
it's common sense. It should
when you have video evidence, you know what I mean? Because that's always going to, I don't care what you tell me this person did against that person. If you can give me proof, hey, we can talk. It opens up, okay, now I can put myself, I can write my mind. I can, I can kind of regulate my moral compass. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want hearsay. And that's kind of the problem with social media and all this nonsense going on. People will take hearsay, even the news outlets, even the police departments. People are quote unquote leaking false information or misleading information.
Sorry, I just looked at I haven't looked at Anchor in a while, man, and I'm pretty impressed. One of the episodes had 25.
Oh, hey, thanks, guys.
That's pretty high. Appreciate that.
Thanks, love you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Keep checking us out. We'll keep posting,
please. Anyways,
but,
sorry.
It's all of this, and then if you try to put the facts out there, people just reject it.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't understand. It's like, okay, I get it. You're upset. But if the facts are the facts and they're legitimate facts, you can't deny them. If the boy was defending himself,
right?
It doesn't matter what color you were. He was defending himself. Okay. But court's been adjourned.
Just
the verdict was the verdict.
Our 2 cents to go into it. Yeah. I think it went the way it needed to go.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You know what I mean? So now everybody should be put on a crucifix.
So
next story.
Next thing, and again, I can't even remember the name of the guy that I was watching. It's you ever heard of the Daily Wire?
Yeah.
That's there's a handful of people that all work through the Daily Wire, and one of them, not just being Ben Shapiro, is drumroll please, Michael Knowles. He also kind of talks in the same concept. I'm picking up a lot of my news from them. Philly D's fun to watch and everything. He kind of just hits the main target points.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles, they pull from the Daily Wire, and they're very, very good at breaking and analyzing a primary single topic.
Yeah.
Opposed to Philly D just kind of gets everything in a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
These guys, they hit that one topic because they upload so frequently.
Yeah.
Like Ben Shapiro will do 4 or 5 episodes in one day. Yeah. And he'll do shorts in between that. So you're getting like 3 shorts and like it's just a consistency because he's working for an outlet that does that shit.
Well, and that's his full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with Michael Knowles. So they were touching base on that Christmas parade in Waukesha. I don't know. I couldn't fucking put the verbiage in for it.
I almost called it Waukesha the first time I saw the name, but it's Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Another thing, and Michael Knowles made it to a thing, which, like I said, it's not to try to discriminate, but when this happened, when Darrell Brooks ran through that fucking crowd of people, I was talking to my brother about this right before we had gone back to Ohio. He was even unaware of this. That dude's track record... Did you see what is? Oh my god!
He had just been released on bail for like $5,000.
Yeah,
before or something.
500.
500.
So, what is this? Is this Missouri? Where it's at?
No, Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, what their laws state is their bail posting is way lower. It barely goes past $1,000.
Wow!
And he had posted bail for skipping bail.
Yes,
and then. Attempted murder, attempted
battery
robbery, battery charges since like 1999. All like
this dude
possession.
Should have been in jail.
And every single time it would be $500 here, $1,000 here. So he had already racked up so many different things.
Yes.
And because what's the state again? I'm drawing a blank. I'm
Waukesha,
no. Wisconsin. I'm sorry, guys. I'm beyond tired here. My brain is just
beyond meat.
It's like Doodle Bob inside my head.
You mean Boom Hour?
No, you remember Doodle Bob?
What's Doodle Bob?
SpongeBob? Remember he drew
Oh, that weird
thing that tried to erase him?
Yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah,
okay.
That's Doodle Bob. Yeah, that's what my brain's doing right now. It's the Doodle Bob thing where I'm not forming proper words. Long story short with this, they were pretty much saying is that they didn't want to use this guy's name, so they kept saying that it was a vehicle accident. And Michael Knowles was like, a vehicle accident requires a human being.
Yes.
And they're pretty much saying this vehicle drove through with no driver. they're trying to stick around it, and they're thinking because they don't want to make it a big thing because it's a black male that they don't want it to pre-predict saying that we're discriminating. There's one guy that posted his bail saying that the system was holding him accountable because he was a black male.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with that whatsoever. Bull. That's who posted his bail, even though he was already a convicted felon.
Here's the thing. You have racism, and then you have profiling. Mm-hmm. Okay? The thing with profiling is, as much as I hate it, it works because people fit the fucking bill.
Yeah.
It's how it works. We work security. Me and Lena both worked with Metro quite closely.
Yes.
He works with military. I've worked with military. We can all profile
you
you can profile a pimp,
a vagrant,
you can profile a gangbanger, a
homeless,
vagrant, a drug dealer, a trans,
you kind of
whatever.
Yeah. And see, in talking to when D talks on this, it's coming from a security aspect that not a lot of people in this town see, is that the profiling thing, it's not to discriminate based off of race.
No.
It's
to give you a leg up
they're fitting the profile.
You're fitting the profile.
If there is a flock of BFAs, black female adults,
right,
all at a bar, and they're all doing the same kind of thing.
Right.
If it walks like a duck and sounds like a duck, it's probably a fucking duck.
Right.
Yeah, and that's like, to profile somebody, they're like, oh, you're just being racist or discriminating. It's like, no. He fits the fucking profile. He's doing exactly what I'm seeing.
You fall into the profile.
Yes.
And they've had him profiled.
They're trying to pull away from that, saying that if they don't use his name in a certain thing, it kind of gets the terms of him dropping a
case. But that's BS, because then here's the dark path you're going to go down. Not to linger on this too long. You're going to go down one of two ways. Either everybody's going to be guilty until proven innocent,
yes,
which is a horrible way of thinking.
Trash.
Or we're not going to touch anybody at all because we can't prove anything because we can't profile you.
No.
Doesn't make any
and that's
sense.
What it's coming to, is everybody's being so fucking hypersensitive that they don't want to touch on any basis. So the people that actually deserve to get charged and hit with things, they're like, we're going to give you a slap on the wrist. This guy, $500 bail.
Right.
He mowed down a fuck ton of people trying to escape from the police.
But you have people who have been in jail for 10, 20, sometimes 30 years who were innocent.
Yeah, or like how they were doing in California for possession of like marijuana.
Right. You have like a gram.
Yeah.
And you're in jail for like a year.
Yeah.
What? It's on your record permanently. You can't get a job.
That's because of our vice president.
Look, we're not touching that.
I know.
We're not. Biden has touched enough.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to leave it at that.
Touched and smelled enough. That was our thoughts on that. We won't really touch on the most recent one just because I feel like that's too fresh.
It's a little too soon.
Anything that,
soon.
Hearts
and prayers go out.
Hearts and prayers go out to the people of Michigan. You know what's going on over there.
It's crazy.
Do your research.
Look, this goes back to what we were talking about when COVID first hit, even prior to. These kids are not having their mental issues addressed properly, and the fact that we as adults are too tired, we're too overworked, we're underpaid, we don't have the energy.
There's no energy to take the time
to commit.
The
teachers can't do it because the teachers are too big, waving flags, shaving their head, and making fucking TikToks now. Yeah. You know what I mean? The counselors are doing whatever. It's like these people are just going off of pure title. And these kids need to be heard. Like, I don't care if you have to say some outlandish ass shit. If that means we're going to be avoiding a potential crisis.
Correct.
I would rather you say some outlandish shit,
yes,
get it out of your system, and move on about your business.
It needs to be like that, and communication is key. Like I was talking about this before. It's like I can run through my day-to-day and mentally fry myself out, but there's a difference between using my mental for my like the job,
betterment of your life.
But betterment of my life,
yes,
or just my day-to-day routine things. Mentally, I'd rather be exhausted like this, because I know I'm feeding my brain with what I want to do, opposed to I'm mentally tired because life is just running me down. I'm feeling beat down, and I feel like with situations that have been happening nonstop, people are getting mentally drained in a way that it's not fulfilling.
They're emotionally exhausted. I mean, we dealt with this when me and Lynn were in school. That was what was that one?
Sorry, I'm thinking about something.
There was that bang bang at the high school. Not Columbia.
Columbine.
Yeah. So there was that. So when we were in school, that was it was a big talk. It was a big hoop and a holler, and it's actually becoming more common, unfortunately, that you're seeing these things happening in school. So, I really hope and pray that we figure something out, because these kids don't deserve to be let down this way. No child should be thinking about committing suicide. No child should be thinking about killing other children.
No.
Like, that thought never crossed my mind. Most of those thoughts never crossed my mind. And even if they did,
it was never so aggressive towards
in the moment, and then it went away.
Now I feel like going into a different age or different not millennium. I don't even know what the
Kind
word
of like
is.
different generation.
Different generation that the kids and teens that we have now have their work cut out for them way harder than we did. Not to say that our workload wasn't harder, but we never had to deal with mental health issues.
I mean, we did, but I don't know. It just felt like we had.
I feel like when I was at that age, I dealt with it. I was indestructible. Like, shit was happening, but I was like, fuck it, I'll get through it.
Like, I cut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no secret to my close friends. I used to be a cutter.
I
did it to understand why people cut.
Yeah.
I didn't do it because I was depressed and I was trying to die. It was.
Well, no, it was the same thing when it came to like, you knew me. I used to get in fights a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look at me now, I got fucking scars all over my head, my hands. So it's like, I would do it in my aggression to be like, I need to understand why things are going the way that they're going.
Right.
But it was never to the extent I'm going to go seek people out to hurt them.
I never wanted, I never wanted to unalive somebody. You know what I mean?
No.
So, we're going to try and do our best to, work with these kids. And it's just, I really hope things take a turn for the better. All right, let's go ahead and round this off. We got one more topic to cover.
Yeah. I don't even really know how to topic on this. It kind of honestly seems like a joke at this point.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I really don't want to go into it. I was just,
Now, when I first heard about this, it made me, Lynn thought of
Transformers.
Yeah. I thought of Futurama.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure if either of you have a similar mindset to what we're thinking, we're talking about the new strain of COVID.
Yeah, Omicron. Omicron versus the Autobots.
Omicron Persei 8.
It's
we want your human horn.
It's a whole nother thing in itself. I don't even really want to go into detail.
No,
with it.
We're not going to go into detail. I'm tired.
We're aware of it.
The numbers were stabilizing, going down, and all of a sudden it's yet again. So we had the beta, theta, whatever. Then we had
Delta, Gamma.
Right. So it's just like, okay, cool. The whole goal is like everything else. Don't panic.
Don't
want to get back into the routine.
Don't panic.
It sucks.
Yes.
We all know it sucks. But since we've been here, we know how to deal with it. You know what I mean? It could be a lot worse. It's getting pretty bad. Could be a lot worse, though. So it's not a great mindset to be in, but it helps me get through the day. Like, look, it could be a lot worse, but I can still go outside when I want to. I can still go to the store. I can still meet up with Lynn when we have time. I don't have to worry about so much. It's more of just the emotional exhaustion of how much longer do we have to wait till this goes away.
It's exhausting. Even when I went back home to Ohio, it's a night and day difference. It's pretty much, if you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist out there. There's no mask. There's no mask inside the stores. Oh. There's no mask inside the gym. There's no mask inside grocery stores, Walmarts, everything.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Wow.
They pretty much say, and I asked my friends about it because it's mandatory at the airport. But the minute you get off the plane, the minute you exit the building, I'd ask my friends because obviously I don't live there.
Right.
And they said the same thing, goes, if you don't talk about it, nobody acknowledges it. Because they've kind of just discontinued.
People are tired.
Yeah, they're just tired. They're tired of trying to obey a rule that we're past at that point.
Yes.
And it's going to be a recurring thing. There's more to come with it, and hopefully when it comes to the new year, we'll kind of come some change, some optimism, and some things for the better for both me, myself, D, his family, my friends, and the rest of the world. So that's pretty much it.
That's it. We're gonna wrap it up.
Wrapping it up.
All right, everybody, stay safe out there. Wear your mask if you can. If you feel comfortable, get vaccinated, get your boosters. Blah blah blah. Stay safe. Do what you can to help out your fellow man. I hope we said something that could help you start a conversation, or that kind of gave you some different perspective on just kind of maybe how you were seeing the situation.
Take your day by day, but always check in on yourself, meaning be there, be strong to take care of everybody around you. One of the biggest quotes that I've put in, which I'm going to put in a shirt for us when we have more time to push in towards the merch store, is being mentally exhausted, but being motivationally driven, meaning that my mental will always be fatigued, but I know my motivation will always push me to get shit done. So you need to be able to be strong for everybody else. But at the end of the day, check on your health. Make sure your brain's good. Make sure your body's good, because how do you expect to take care of others if you are not taking care of yourself? And don't be afraid
to talk to people.
No.
Like I said, we should be allowed to... You should be allowed to say shit that makes you stop wanting to do shit. So if I just want to say I'm going to slap a baby, am I going to slap a baby?
What?
No, but saying it makes me get that aggression out so that I don't want to slap a baby. Do I want you to say that? No.
I don't know where this is going.
If you need to talk to somebody.
Why are you doing this?
So that you don't slap a baby.
Stop this now.
Please talk to somebody.
Go away.
Stop it.
Don't slap a baby.
Don't slap baby.
This is Lynn.
This is D.
We are Project Airwaves.
Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, share, subscribe,
please
leave a comment. If you're listening to us on Anchor, please feel free to spread the word.
Yes.
If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, we love you. Thank you. Please feel free to leave a comment.
Continue.
I even put a survey, I put a survey on Spotify.
Did we just get a letter? I wonder who it's from.
Steve? I missed you, Steve. Yeah. Other than that, check us out on Facebook. Don't forget, we got a Patreon. You can always sign up for free merch and be the first to listen to any and all of our podcasts, including my sessions. For those of you also on the Twitterverse or the interwebs or now the metaverse, as Mark Zuckerberg would say, please feel free to check us out on all of our social media. Descriptions are down in the links below. I said that wrong. Links are down in the description below.
Descriptions are down in the
links
links
below. Other than that,
below.
we're signing out. Keep your head in the clouds.
And keep your feet on the ground, always moving forward.
Wash your feet, because they get stinky after a while.
That's nasty.
You know, like Toph, I wonder if she has stinky feet.
Get out of here.
Okay.
Go
all
away.
right, you
We're
did
done.
good.
You did real good.